Okay guys, welcome. Thank you for coming under this kind of weather. Can you tell me a little bit why you want to learn ggplot2? Do you use it in your work? Yes? What do you do?
I work for BlackRock. I work for BlackRock. We do a lot of aggregations, analysis on mortgages and all this.
So you use R a lot?
R.
How about you, sir?
I just use R but not ggplot.
What about you?
I've used it before. That was very basic and it was a few years ago. I was just trying to see.
Well, you're still young. Don't say a few years ago. How about you, sir?
I use R for data analysis. I've used ggplot a little bit, but none of the more advanced features.
Okay. Well, which industry you are in now?
That's finance.
Hello, sir. Why do you want to use ggplot2?
The same reason, really.
You both from finance?
No, I'm in health.
Healthcare.
I work for the health department,
House department.
so I'd be interested to hear about your HIV paper. That sounds interesting.
Okay, it was. Oh, you look, my HIV paper. So, it was written like 1.5 years ago when I'm still working for Brown University, and it's about how can we lower test costs for very low tests. Because in Africa, even the test only costs $20. Not many people can afford it. So the method was like pooling people's blood test sample together. Like if you pool 49 people blood tests together, you test them once, and you do like panel testing. You can save a lot of cost. So more people can get tested more regularly. It was a collaboration between Brown University and Kenyon Medical Center. So it was a big success.
Great.
How about you, sir?
I'm still a student. I've used ggplot2, and I'm just using this as a refresher.
Okay. Angus?
I'm just here to learn.
Okay. You always learn.
I use research.
Research. Which industry? Computer science. So you're using this to do some machine learning
Yes.
and do comparison?
Me? I wanted to learn R since last year, but I didn't really start yet, but I just learned.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
I want to do a better job of learning R. I took an online course a while ago and just never did anything with it, so this brings me back here.
I used ggplot before, but some basic functionality, so I want to learn more.
Okay. How about you?
I'm a data manager for an HIV clinic, so I'll be looking at the paper.
Oh, nice.
I do databases with nonprofits, and I'm just trying to learn more about R, I guess.
Hi, I'm a researcher. I am an SPSS user who wants to switch to R and learn more about the powerful data visualization tools in R.
You guys always come together, right?
Yes, possible.
So I work in finance, and I've used ggplot and nycopendata on occasion. We're looking more tricks to learn.
Christine,
I just want to learn more about art.
are you a regular R user?
No.
Hi, Miss.
Hi.
We're doing a quick survey. Why do you want to use ggplot2? And what do you use it for?
Actually, I'm hoping that this will answer that.
Okay. Let's get started. So I wrote this slide last year, and at that time I was like reviewing Kung Fu Panda. Who doesn't love Kung Fu Panda here? Okay, this is an old picture about what Kung Fu means. Like I try to map it to Kung Fu by point, bar, histogram, line, tiles, and maps in ggplot2. So What is ggplot2? By the way, ggplot3 just come out. We might have ggplot3 workshop later, after I dive into the detail. And ggplot2 is a plotting system. It's based on a book called Grammar of Graphics. That's why it's called GG. It has GG in the front. And before ggplot, there was two packages called Base and Lattice. They're the most used package before ggplot2. So ggplot2 tried to take the good parts and abandon the bad part. So if you have used ggplot2, there are a lot of things not nice about. It's a lot of things about ggplot2 is super nice. Like you don't need to worry where to put your label, where to put your text, right? Anyone have the same feeling if you use it in the past? And it's similar to Photoshop. The approach is multiple layer. Like if you're adding sparkling on the top of the plot, you can always take this layer out. If you're adding regression line, you can take it out. So it's very easy. You don't need to like mess up with other parts. This one, why ggplot is so good. First, all the points, all the layers, all the colors can be combined by plus sign. It makes it easier for you to take it out. Also, it helps you to think differently. You want to know the basic first, like how to plot points. How should you color them differently? Also, it gives you publication-related plots. And ggplot2 including 7 basic concepts. First is called mapping. Second is scale, geometric, statistic, coordination, layers, and facet. Anyone have any idea what those are? Any guess? What does mapping mean? How can you define your x coordinate and y coordinate? Do you have to like define x row and y x column and y column in your data set? Do you have to do that? So that's the mapping. You want to specify which column is your x, which column is y. That's the mapping relationship, right? I'll give more details. This is mapping. So from the data set, you can have different columns. The first one have length, width, depth, and treatment solution. And when you map to your ggplot2 function, you need to specify which is your x, which is your y, and which one you're using as the color option. Like here, I choose length as my x, y as my y as my y, and I'm not using depth. Treatment becomes my color. Next, what is scale? You can tell it's the one x equal to 1. This is like the data set happen to have the same name, like x1, xy color. And one map over, I can say this is level 1. Level 1 means 0 in the graph. You can change the scale. Like level 2 will be 25. Level 4 will be 27. Level 9 will be 2000. You can define the scale, how they increase. And the increment doesn't have to be 0 equal. The first one is equal, like every increment is 25. But the second column, if you look into the y, 0 is mapping to, or 2 is mapping to 0, 3 is mapping to 11. The increment is not even. Like, depends on how you want the levels mapped to the numbers. And how should you use this kind of scale? Why it should look like this? If you do heartbeat measurement, you want a range, like 100 to 120. Maybe it's healthy for a certain age group. And you give a group number or layers for different people, but they might map to different numbers. Right? Like kids have lower heartbeat rate. Seniors have higher heartbeat rate. So you want to have some flexibility in the scale. After you define what mapping you're using, you can further scale down how they map to your graph. Does that make sense to you? And color A becomes red, color B becomes blue. You can always choose your different combination of color. Geometric. Geometric includes points, lines, and polygons. And histogram, bar plots, a lot of things, as long as it's related to geometric objects. Statistics. Sometimes we want to fit a regression line to your points. There are a lot of methods you can fit a line. Like you can use Loess, Loess. It's one way to fit numbers. Coordination. You have the object, you have the regression line. You want to know which coordinate you're working with. You can use polar coordination if it works for your research, like Rose petal or Rose charts. This is why ggplot is so good. You can abstract your data as a layer, your mapping as a layer, your geographic object as a layer, your statistic regression as a layer. Okay, I believe this is the last concept. Physics. You want to subset your data set. Like if you are measuring your age and height, and you want to subset them by gender, the gender will be your subgroup. Like female, male will be different plotting. Or later we will see a data set called diamond. It has an order. Like clarity will have order. Like most pure, the purest diamond and dirtiest diamond, and the best cut and the worst cut. It has an order. So everyone try to refresh your mind what those are before we dive into more details. Ask yourself what it is. Okay, do a quick test. Angus, what is layer?
Layers, like you said, it's similar to how you work with Photoshop. You can have different, I'm not sure what the word would be, but different aspects of what you're trying to graph on different layers that you can remove and add them as you please.
Can you have data layer?
I assume so, yeah.
Can you have mapping layers?
You said the mapping is how you do your XY coordinates in regards to your data.
That's right.
So I assume that would be the foundation, that would be like the foundation layer or the background.
Yes, that's right. You can also define whether you want a line or points. That's GEOM layer.
Oh, okay.
You also want to know whether you're doing some statistical approach. It's the stats layer.
Oh, okay.
But you can have multiple stats layer or multiple geo object layer. Okay, another quick test. What's scale? Can you answer my question? You and him.
Just how you scale your x and y axis so that the data shows correctly and not
So can you map increment differently? 1 is 100, 2 is 500, 3 is 10,000. Is that possible?
I'm not sure.
Previously, I showed mapping a scale. The first X column, the increment is equal, right? Every time 25 jump. But for Y column, they're different.
Okay.
From 2 to 3, the jump was 11. From 3 to 5, the jump is not multiple of 11. So the scale is really depends on how you design your graph and your relationship. The increment then has to be equally increased. Usually it's equally increased, but sometimes you can define your own increment.
And ggplot is here.
No, it's based on your mapping, right? How you massage your data. You need to do it before you dump your data into ggplot2. Okay, last question. What's physics? David, please. How about you? No, the gentleman behind you. Yes, that's it.
So that can be where you can use your data and basically create multiple charts.
Like gender, like female, male, right? Cool. Okay, so flying color to pass the test. Let's keep moving on. Points. Why panda? Because panda have points around his body everywhere. Okay, here is the sample data, MPG. Anyone know what MPG is and how to look it up? If you open your R and do a question mark, MPG. Okay, because MPG is a dataset in ggplot2, you have to load ggplot2 before you can do anything with it. So go to your packages, ggplot2, and load it by check on the options. Then do MPG again. It comes up the help of MPG. This dataset contains a subset of fuel economy data from 1990 to 2008. Let's look at the data. Had MPG give us the first 6 rows of the dataset. Manufacturer models, display years, cylinder, transmission. So I list a few variables we will care about. First one is display, engine displacement, cylinder, transmission, front wheel, rear wheel drive or four-wheel drive, city miles per gallon, highway miles per gallon. So it tells you how efficient the car is. First we load ggplot2. Is everyone having their R installed in RStudio? If you bring your laptop, I really want you to try all the commands with me. The workshop should be hands-on. Can you see it from the back, the command? If you can run those 2 commands, let me know. If you need help, let me know too. Oh, can you go to meetup.com? You can see the 2 links to the site. I will open the drawing room so you can share my screen. Okay, Michael. You can go to joinme/nyc-opendata. Type your name and knock to join. So you will share my screen. The password, the username is TWS. Password is TW at G like Gary, I like Ivy, L like life, E like Alan, 1 like number 1. Wi-Fi, TW gas, password, TW at GILE1. Can you see it? Good. Can everyone load the ggplot2?
She doesn't have problems. Oh, you still have it.
No, just download from RIII.
Oh, okay.
Move on. I used to see people type my name to knock. Okay. So, what's str function? Anyone knows? If you don't know, you can do question mark str. It's a function to display the structure of your R object. So if we do str mpg, you can see how many variables, how many observations you have, and how many levels you have for each variable. You have 15 manufacturers, 38 models. Okay. Try to type this function. ggplot2 data equal to mpg, mapping which one is x, which one is y. After you assign ggplot function to p, you can keep adding layers. This is the geom layer. You're adding points. Did you get this? What if we change the points to lines? This one doesn't look as good as points, but it gives you an idea how you can switch them. Who have got this? Show me. Cool. Okay, next. We want to know what is saved in P, so we can do a summary P. It will tell you what data you use, what variable is available in the dataset, what mapping you have defined, what facet you have. Here we define none, so it's facet underscore none. But P is only the first layer, the data layer. We want to look into the summary of P plus geom underscore points. So this part is different now compared to previous summary. Okay. Summary P. Summary P plus geom points. And if you change it to line, what part will change. The first one, let me move my screen a little bit. The first one, summary have GO and point. The third one have GO and one. They're different objects. If you lose track of what you have in doing, you can do a summary. It's quick lookup. This one helps you to define the color and the size of the points. You can try any color you like blue 6, purple 10. In RStudio, you can place your cursor at any place and run the current line. It's right now. What if I change it to 10? It's a mess. That's why you need to play with the plotting and choose the best parameter for yourself. What if I do 1? Would the point be too small? It's too tiny, right? So it's not like every plot you should use size 3. You should really try out on your dataset. Okay, let's stick with 3. Any question? How about this one? We are adding color to the P definition. Color is factor of years. We want to see whether the car becomes more efficient, so we separate them by years. No, it's not. If you faster means you have multiple plot. This is still only a single plot. So add color equal to factor. And the color is already defined, so you take out the color option here. The color has to be inside of AES, and I put this outside. That's why the color didn't change. Let's compare why. Oh, okay. Because it's AES. So AES can contain several parameters, like it can be mapping, it can be color. Okay, let's try now. Please try it, otherwise you won't be able to use it on the new dataset.
Actually, put the color as an attribute of the geometric point.
That's right. You can put color at different places. You can also put color inside of points.
Yeah, but the difference is when I did show the legend on the right. You see how it shows you the factor here.
Yes.
In the point, it didn't show that legend.
Are you saying if you put the color inside of points?
Yeah.
Because AES is like global setting. If you put color inside of points, it's like partial setting. Let's try it. Did you redefine the years in the point?
You have to fully qualify.
Oh, you copy the whole.
No, just say RIII MPG dollars
Here?
Yeah.
Like this? The legend was gone. So depends on, sometimes you want this kind of thing. Okay, next. Right now I add a new layer called stack underscore smooth. Try it. It's smoothing based on the years. Same year is regression, is fitting on the same regression line. Did everyone get this? Good. Good. So if you need help, ask your neighbors. My goal for the workshop is everyone should be able to run all the code. What if we only want one regression line? How do we do that? You put the color outside of the AES. The color is in the geo point, GAS, and you do a regression line. So it matters. Where do you define the color? You can put them side by side, and it's good reference when you want to use it later. But you need to know like why it's different. I'm using my old code to create the new one. The P is redefined now because we are assigning new P object. Okay. I think I'm ready to run a new one. Unexpected extra question mark. Okay, one question mark. Can you guys see from the back? You can download the slides. I already posted the link. It's the first slides link. I will walk around if you need help. No. You already have ggplot installed and loaded. Library. ggplot2. Now you have access to MP3. So if you want to go back to previous commands, you can use active to navigate to your previous code history. So if you have done with this one, try to change the parameter, change into different color, change into different sound. Do a pass-through mark ggplot2, you can look up all available. Yeah. So if you haven't installed R, can you raise your hand? Yeah. So I will have to access. Do you want to see somewhere else to see how you visit? Question mark in front of the function. So you can do when this one is still accepted. Question mark because I use a new layer called stat on the board. Previous I have two regression because I separate the data by year. That's why based on different year I have two regression. So the AES color, previous it's on the first line. So the ggplot2 is smart enough to pick up you want two different ones. And the ggplot2 help you to pick the color. it's using a package called a color brewer to select the best combination for you. Why it's blue? Because sometimes people have red and green color blind. This is the best for everyone. Everyone can read it. Okay, so next I will explain two equal way to draw things. Like the first one, you first define MPG as your data, your X and Y mapping, and you specify what color you want to put for your points, and do a smooth regression line. How about the second one? Second one, you take out this global setting in each of the layer. Like point layer, you have data in XY. Smooth layer, you have data in XY. It's telling you if you assign everything as first step, later on you don't need to do it again. So even if they're equivalent, the first one is cleaner and precise, right? So you might have seen people, or you might run into other people's code like this. This is the better practice.
So does that mean that you can run the smoothing function on a different data set?
Yes, you can.
So
But why do you want to run a regression line on different data set? It won't. You're not telling the complete story, right?
it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. And since the whole thing is assigned to D, you need to do print D to print out the problem. Otherwise, you were asking why I don't have any plot, because you didn't print it. You only assign something to an object. Okay, so I did a summary D here. It's telling me what data set I have. Since the geo plot part, we didn't put any data there. That's why here in the summary, the data is 0 times 0. You didn't put anything there. And for the first mapping, you can tell which data set you're using. What is your X and what is your Y. Okay, how can we change color? This is an example. It's called scale color menu. You are manually set the color, and you give value to the color. Try it. How many of you have done this? Good. Okay. Next, I highlight the change I did. So here I add size to the color because when the points overlap on each other, you can tell how many models, how many they point at the same place. If you add color, you can tell based on the displacement how efficient the car is. Does that make sense? Does this part make sense to you? Who can tell me a story out of this part? Are we doing better with the car or worse? Who can tell me why the displacement increased and the efficiency increased too?
What is CP1?
Displacement.
Sorry?
Displacement. Engine displacement.
Oh.
If you use RStudio, you can go back to previous slides. But if you use the RIII one, you can go back to previous parts. So I really like RStudio. The IDE is super awesome. You can look back all the history of your coding and save it, and you can copy code to your console and to your source really easily. Good. Okay, let's try something else. Here I add alpha equal to 0.5, position equal to jitter, scale size continuous range equal to 4 to 10. So you can tell from this part, there is some transparency, right? It's defined by alpha. I usually add the plus sign in the end of the line. Otherwise, if you just run this line, R doesn't know you haven't finished your code. If you put plus sign, it will keep asking you for more. Any question? You can change alpha to 0.1 or 0.1, and alpha is ranged from 0 to 1. What if we want to display HWY on the x coordinate, city in the y coordinate? What's the easiest way? Any guess? So you are saying x equal to HWY now? Okay, it's one solution. We have a handy one called coordinate flip. it saves you work to change. You can just take it out, right? I can tell you like it. How about this one? This is the polar coordinate. Did any one of you know this year half of the US population suffered the coldest winter in the past 100 years? Montana is colder than North Polar. I guess polar bears will come over soon. How about this one? You want to cut like one part of the limb. So you specify X limb starting from 15 to 25. 15 to 25. And Y limb from 15 to 40. So you're taking a snapshot of what we have inside. How about this? Yes. We are separating different years. Tell the years. And the color is class now. Either it's two-seater compact, mid-size minivan, pickup, subcompact, SUV. SUV is the least efficient car here. Which one is most efficient? Compact car. How many of you are using SUV now? Okay, this is like ultimate, most complex one. So what's the difference? Only difference is the labels. I'm adding the labels here, 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 and here. So Y label, X label, size label, and the color label. Because when you deliver the thought, people don't know what is your X, what is your Y. You need to say or dictate. Okay, let's try a different data set. Diamond data set. First, we choose the data set equal to diamonds. It's another data set in ggplot2. And the X is carat, Y is price. And we're making a scatter plot here.
How do you get the diamonds for this?
So once you load the ggplot, you should have diamonds already. If you type data process, you can tell what are the dataset available to you now. Scroll down, and this is the dataset saved in ggplot2. By the way, I'm recording this, so you can always go back to look up. Question mark diamonds. How many of you got this? Almost there? Okay. Please help your neighbors if you haven't got here. How about next one? I define the size equal to 0.1, alpha equal to 0.1. Why do I do this? What does this tell you? Yes, it kind of shows me what the density of the plots, right? The point. Previous one, you can tell there are a big mass here. We don't know how many points. How about next one? I add a count on the side. So from the color, you can tell how many points exist in the left bottom one. It's more than 6,000 diamonds. So most of diamond is less. It's about 0.25 carat, around $1,000. I guess it's diamond earring. You ever got diamond in this area? Or got diamond from this area? Right upper corner. Okay, so here I use a stat underscore bin 2D, bin equal to 40 to observe the intensity of the points. Okay, I can do even better. I can define GOM as polygon and fill them by layers. So we have the contour plots. It tells you further which part have the most points. This one is very advanced. So if you need to do similar things, you can always switch back using the basic X and Y mapping and try this out on your own dataset. Okay, so I have another slide I use for my data science class. So next will be the histogram. How do we do histogram in ggplot2? I use a dataset called iris, and X is sepal length. We don't need Y here, so the Y becomes counts. How many iris flower is there? Do you know how to take a look at the iris dataset? So it's GOM underscore histogram. I use the same technique I used before, like how I define D. I print D. Everyone get this? Good. Need more minutes?
I feel the Instagram is that a different for the slide?
It's the slides for my data science class.
Oh, okay.
Any question? You can try different things. If you do a names of iris, you can know the column names, and you can switch x equal to cpel wise or petal length to see different histogram.
If I add custom legend to certain position in the plot.
ggplot2 handles legends for you, so it doesn't work like base package. You need to specify one.
If I want some specific text to come in,
You use label LAT. Do you mean different labels like this?
yeah, I just want to highlight some part on the plot. Like usually how I do is I just copy the copy of the image and put in the PowerPoint, put that in particular form.
Oh, I see. Okay, I have example like. This one. I mark 1 year.
Alright.
Is this what you want to do?
Yeah, I will make some text in here and like just to mark it with a pen.
Okay, I have code for this one. So print a code and the result. You can look into this one. It's page 85. You use GOM text and give the conditions on where you want to put it. It's not easy to do. Maybe PowerPoint is easier. Okay, so we use histogram to look into the property of one single variable. This one is customized histogram. We want different color, it's the same information like the previous one, but this one looks much better. We first change the color, the fill color as sky blue, and the border color equal to black, and set the group gap as 0.1. So those are the parameters you can feed into geo histogram. Do you like this one much more? Okay, so how do we add density curve? What do I mean by a density curve? You want to know where is most intensive part, so you feed it in density curve. The command is GEOM density, color equal to black, line type equal to 2, adjustment equal to 2. You need to play with the numbers. Like for 2, it's not a straight line. It's dash 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 line. Have little space. And you can feed multiple density curve. That's what I did there. Type 1, type 2, type 3, and different adjustment number. So it looks like this. I mentioned the smaller the adjustment is, the more sensitive the curve would be. So you can see the first one have 3 peak. The second one have like roughly like more peaks than the third one. So actually the first one has 4 peak, another here. I guess this used a lot in finance. Have you seen this? You study volatility, right? This is related to volatility. How sensitive the data is. You want to find the peak moment. Okay, so this one, I fill the color based on species. This dataset have 3 species. So we have different colors. And it's transparent. That's why you can see all of them at the same time. The alpha equal to 0.5. Good? So we have a lot to cover. Let's move on to box plot. I use the same technique to fill by different color. Fill equal to species. And right now I'm doing box plot. Do you know what is a box plot? This is like the middle line is the 50 percentile, top 75, 25, and this is the maximum and minimum. What is called whisker? This one? It's this one, outlier. So the reason people want to do box plot, they want to detect outlier and things like that, because it will skew your model dramatically.
So what is the definition of the minimum?
If, how to say that? How about 1%, 90%? This is go beyond the majority. RIII plot. So only this part changed. And RIII plot plus points. We want to know where those points are located. This is the best way to show it. So geo RIII and the geo dot plot. It's telling you how the points are distributed. This one is like general feeling, general understanding how the data are clustered. This is telling you where exactly they're clustered. So if you go back to the data, you can find out this type of flower have 2 data points around 5.8. You can always map back to the data set. This is CPAL length. It's telling you how many points. Like this one is 6. You might have 6.1 around 6, 4 of them. So plotting really helps you understand how the data look like. Sometimes if you don't do plotting, you might find, like this is a good example. None of the data set look alike, but the statistical characters are exactly the same. Like correlation is the same, by skewness is the same. Unless you plot them, you don't know what's going on there. Okay. This is a bar chart using ggplot2. This is a stacked bar chart. Sometimes you want to put them one on top of each other. And sometimes you want to stack them side by side. This is a pie chart. So there are not too many people using two-seater car. Two-seater is this one. How many slides? There are not many people using minivan, but SUV, mid-size, compact are very popular. Okay, this is called Rose diagram. It tells you, I'm using a wind data. It tells you which direction the wind comes from and how strong the wind is. It describes the wind speed and the direction of distribution. So how strong the wind is and which direction it comes from. It's like you're standing in the middle and you feel all the wind. I used this for different purposes in the past. I look up how much code people contribute to Julia project. So the 3 founders have the longest CPAL. This one. And the color means different type of GitHub submission. Like push, this is push, this is commit, and this is solve issue. I want to know who I should submit to, so you can respond to my fix. And those are the 3 founders of Julia project. Okay. This is a plot called Mosaic using Titanic dataset. Who can tell me what's the story behind of that? Different what? So this is survive. This is class. third class, second class, first class, and crew. No, red one is not survive. Blue one is survive.
So the female crew, there's a very small female crew, but most people survive.
Yes.
And there's a very large male crew, but most people do not survive.
Yes. So are you either have the highest survival rate? Who were almost survive? First class female. It's the same thing like we saw in India. All the first class lady survive. So movie was telling the truth. That's why people say one picture was 1,000 words. This picture was like 3 hours movie. Because it's separating genders. Like the female one is this part, male one is this part. This is the female, male, female, male, female, male. And for each group, separate into male and yes, male and yes, and they have different populations. That's why it's little skewed. What? I didn't post the code because long code. So this is Jack's class. Who's the other guy? Who survived? Rose. Rose is in this class. And his fiance is in this class. But here. Okay. This one tells how popular each statistical software are. Like JMP is JUMP, it's software under SAS, and Minitab, SPSS, SAS, Stata, Systab, and R. R is on the top now. What if previously I was showing all the plots about you describing one variable? How about you want to describe the relation between variables? We have seen this one, this one, this one. Have you seen a similar thing like this? It's a scatter plot with by variable relationship. So it's telling you the relationship between those two variables here. This variable and this variable here. This is here. So you can see only half of the plot because they are like exactly the same information. You can do a mirror mapping. Yes. It's called scatter plot. You need to look up at geo points and set it as a binary relationship. So good example, if you do ggplot2, the first website is ggplot2.org, I believe. And there are a lot of examples. Like the first one is AB line. If you click on that, first it tells you how you should use this part, this layer. What are the arguments? What are the description, detail, and examples? Handily posts very rich examples on each of the examples. So you can pick the one most close to your need and change it. So your question relates to annotation. You can always specify where you want to add the annotation to the plot. And this is scale. How can you add color and using different color panel for your plotting? It comes with a whole solution. Like this solution might compose 20 colors. This is a correlation plot between, like, it's a similar thing like the last plot. You only need to see half of it. One is positive correlated, negative one is negative correlated. And different color shows how much is correlation values. What if we want to show the time series data? This example using American employment GDP data. First, we specify if the employment less than 8,000, it will be still blue. If it's bigger than 8,000, it will be red 4. So we have the color to differentiate how much employment. Actually, you can check it here. Only those 7 bars go across 8,000. But the color tells you faster, right? How about we want to do a closer look? The positive number and the negative number are displayed by different colors. It's all gray and topped by the red 4. This one, I marked year, so we can look it up. It's inside of this part, geotext. It's like more prettier than the last one, right? So it's black and white. Okay, let's show some maps. And this one I'm using world map. So we can draw this in ggplot2. You can draw US map and use the merger dataset. It's old dataset, 1972. But maybe once the New York City opened their crime data, we can do similar things. San Francisco have real-time crime data. You can search like where there is a robbery 5 minutes ago. Okay, this one, I marked a few elements on China map. Use earthquake dataset. So these are the places have earthquake more often than other places. And you can do interactive visualization. If you run this code, you can actually click on the points, give you their names. And I use Google Visualization API. And the WDI is Word Development Index. It's some economy data. Develop GDP, CO2, and life expectancy between 2001 to 2009. Okay, that's all for tonight. Any questions? Is there something you want to draw with ggplot2? You want to play with all the code you have now?
I was using R and then this was the before, but here the studio can see what R is doing. So we can anything work from the R is studio is seeing.
So your question is how can you hook up RStudio with R? So RStudio doesn't see your current session in R.
Okay.
So R is like the engine inside of RStudio. RStudio is a wrapper. You should link your RStudio to your R. So RStudio is like environment help you to program less. Yes. So inside of the tools options, you can set the link up. It's here in the tools options, and I believe it's in general. So RStudio won't see anything going on in your R. They don't talk to each other. Anyone want a quick review about how you can use RStudio? Good? Okay. Since I really love RStudio, I will walk you through quickly. So I will do it by 5 parts. The top part is the menu part. You can create your R file, text file, C++ file, R sweep. Anyone know what sweep for? It's for reproducible research. You can put your explanation of code, your plots, Python, R code all at one place. You can compile it into the text or PDF. And then Markdown. I wrote most of my slides by Markdown. So the slides look like this. And it's compiled from our MD file. It's like, this one is my front page, like the title, the subtitle, who did this. And this part I specify it's R code. But you can say it's C++ code or Python code. It contains different code set. Also, you can jump to different position and run a region of the code or just a few lines of the code. you can zoom in, zoom out, and switch focus. This window called source code window. This one called console window, help window, and the workspace and history window. So you can switch focus among those windows. If you run our R session for too long, you want to kill it, you can do terminate R and restart R. If you want to reset your working directory, you can do set working directory here. Workspace is like you want to save data object or functions. So next time you can just load the workspace and go back to where you left behind. You can also clear your workspace so you have a fresh start. Project is like multiple people working on the same project. You want to make a folder to contain everything. Build most used for making R packages. Tools is very useful, especially the options. You can set what kind of style your text pad should look like. And like you can switch the editor scene. I use TextMate. You can adjust how each window look like. I specified the first one source code window, but you can switch it. You can put console on the top, source code in the bottom. Package 1 specify which mirror link you're downloading from. Swift is for reproducible setting. GitHub. I love this one. If you have GitHub account, you should link and save your public key here, so you can push back and download other people's stuff really quickly. So for this one, if you want to run the code, you can highlight and do a run, or you just put your cursor at the line you want to run. If you want to run the whole file, you can say, I want to source the whole file. There is option here. It means run the whole file for me. Console always give you the result after you run something. Like if I run names, it will spit the names to me. And help one, you can put function name, words. It will look into all the documentation. Files, you can reset working directory or navigate among the files. Plots, you can export plots as images or save them as PDF or copy it to a clipboard. And in history, you have options to copy code from history window to your source window or to a console. Let me show you how to do that. If I want to copy this code to my source, I just highlight this one and click on source. Or I click on to console. It will bring over. It helps you speed up your program. And workspace tell you what are the objects available to you at this moment. Like I have matrix, I have OPP, vector, and function X. Sometimes if you have a huge Excel look data object, you can click and open the data up inside the bar. And you can install packages here by click on install packages, like ggplot2. It will start to download for you and download all the dependent packages. And RStudio gives you a quick check for what data set or which package you want to do an update. You can click on this and install the new packages. I don't always update, but if I have some new thing it couldn't run on current R, I will do an update. Like right now, the latest R is 3.0. Most of the package haven't been keep update to 3.0. So I always keep different version of R. Make sure my code can always run on previous version. If you go to help and click on the little home icon, it's like you can find a lot of documents like RIII R extension, R internal is like your reference for making R packages. And import export give you a general idea how can you read Excel, how can you read web link, table on HTML page. Okay, and you can also save your history to a file. Just click on save here. And you can also save your file and source it, run the whole thing if you click on source on save. And use up and down, you can bring previous history code back to the console. All the code you run before. It's up and lower one. Okay, that's all. Any more questions? Okay, thank you for coming. We did it on time.